If you're having a small group session or a whole class session, you can record those meetings and share them with students after the fact through Google Classroom. I wouldn't post them onto a publicly accessible website, but we've checked with Catherine and with Marianne, and they said, yeah, you can post those videos in Google Classroom so that students can access the information they need when they're able to do so. So that's a nice feature here. And as well, just another tip about that, just always modeling just what I've done here, asking for consent, and then having that quick conversation about digital citizenship, because students should know that anything they do online can be used in ways that they didn't expect. And so having that conversation with them is great to do. Marcia, thanks for joining us. I see that you just logged in. That's great. Do you want to, just before you introduce yourself, just so you know, our meet is being recorded so that you and others can refer back to it. But if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself with your name, where you're from, and if you have a burning question about Loom.
Hi, I'm Marcia. I teach at Outreach, and I have so many questions about Loom that I'm going to save them because you're probably going to answer most of them.
Sounds good. And if I don't, please do interrupt. That goes for anyone on the call. I do have some potential paths, but we can go wherever we as a group need to go. So please feel free to interrupt by unmuting your microphone. You can send a message through the chat window pane. However, please be forewarned that I have not yet got the hang of checking both the chat window and presenting my screen and talking all at the same time. So if I do miss your question, please don't let me end the call without answering it. Here on the screen are the potential paths I thought we might explore, starting with how to access Loom and install the Loom for Chrome extension. We'll talk about recording, editing, and sharing Loom videos. We'll also talk about other configurations, such as recording full screen lessons or using a document camera or another device to record what you are doing physically, for example, on a piece of paper on the desk or on a whiteboard or something like that. And then finally, another great tip is how to use Loom for student feedback. Are there, just based on the questions, it sounds like we'll be covering all of that. But at this point, do you see anything that isn't on the screen that you would definitely like to address before our hour is out? All right, and it sounds like some of you have a lot of experience with Loom, so please feel free to jump in and add more information as you do so. Michael, I see that you've raised your hand.
Does everyone have a grid on their meet? Okay.
On their Hangout meet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing your head nodding. And so those extensions, the grid and the raise hands, have been pushed out by Andrew and Grant here at DO, so those are great to use. Now, if you can't see my screen as big as you would like to, you can toggle off grid view and then choose the spotlight layout, and that will make my screen your full screen for easy access. So let's take a look at first how to access Loom. Loom can be found at loom.com. And since I'm already signed into Loom, it's taking me right to my dashboard. So I'm just going to sign out here and show you what the landing page looks like, just in case you haven't signed up yet. Now, Loom Pro, which is what we have for free, is normally a paid app. I believe it's normally $10 a month, so that's not insignificant amount. That's $120 a year, and I think it's worth every penny of it. Right now it's free because of our circumstances, and I'm sure that at some point it's going to return to some sort of subscription model, but I can't see myself teaching without it, even when we're back to in-person teaching. And I'll show you why I think that as we proceed here. To get Loom for free, if you haven't done so already, click Get Loom for Free, and then click Sign Up with Google so that you sign up with your sbschools.org email address. Basically, you're going to get a free trial version of Loom, Loom Pro, and then shortly thereafter, Loom is going to verify that, yeah, that's an educational account, and they'll give you the full upgrade to Loom Pro for education for free. So there will be a little form to fill out as you're signing up. I can't show it to you at this point because I've already signed up, but there's a brief form to fill out as you're signing up. And then you're going to come to a screen that asks you to install the Loom for Chrome extension. And that is definitely something you want to install. When you click install the Loom for Chrome extension, it's going to take you to a page very similar to this, except instead of this blue button in the corner of the screen saying remove from Chrome, yours is going to say add to Chrome. So do add that, and you'll know that it's there when up in your toolbar of your Chrome window, it has this Loom icon, Loom for Chrome. And this is what you're going to do to record your videos. Now, all of your videos are stored in Loom on the dashboard. And so if I go back to my loom.com page, this is my dashboard with all my videos. You can create folders just like you do in Google Drive. And so I've started to create some folders to organize videos. But even as I've been creating videos, I just haven't had a chance to go back and create and manage all of these videos and organize them. But you can definitely do that. You can also create a public folder. So you can just share a link to this folder to, say, your students, for example, and they'll see all of your videos for your class in one place where they can kind of scroll through and choose the ones they need. But when you're recording a video, I don't suggest using this button here in your dashboard. Instead, I suggest using the Loom for Chrome extension that you've installed right up here. So whether you're on a desktop or a laptop computer, this Loom for Chrome extension is what you should use. What I'm going to do to model a recording is just get my web page set up or my desktop set up with the page that I want to show to my students. So let's imagine that I'm doing a morning meeting for today, being Monday. I'm going to get that page set up. This is just a Google slide that is in presentation mode. And now I'm going to click the Loom for Chrome extension at the top. And I have a few options to toggle, not too many, but a few options that allow me to fine tune how I want this video to look. The first options at the top are whether I want the screen and cam. So that's camera, not me, but screen and camera. And so that's what you see here. We see my desktop screen and we see a bubble of me that I can position and float anywhere I'd like. Another option is screen only. So it will show an avatar of me, but I can change that photo if I want. I can also remove that photo, and I'm just gonna kind of divert for a second here and go down to right above the red button. It says actually normally it would say show advanced options. There we go. And so I'm gonna show those advanced options. And one of the toggles are use photo for screen only. I can toggle that off, and then it's just the desktop that's displayed there. Toggling it back on, I can see my avatar. The third option for recording is camera only. Now this is a little deceptive because in the Loom for Chrome extension here, camera only looks very much like screen plus camera because I can still see my desktop screen and I see this bubble here. And even when I start recording in this way, it's only going to show this bubble, it's not going to fill up the entire screen. And I believe one of the benefits of this is that you can record your video and at the same time, you can have your notes or information on your desktop that you can see and look at. And it looks like you're looking right at the camera. And you can record this video of just you. So students will actually see a rectangular or square version of you if you choose camera only, even though it doesn't look so. I'm going to go back to screen and camera. And I'm going to show you a few other options here. With the bubble, you can change the size, by selecting the different sizes in the circles at the bottom of the bubble. And you can also hide and show this control menu that allows you to cancel, pause, or start your recording. So those are a few options there. Not only can you do this before you record, but even while you're recording, you can change the size of these bubbles and you can reposition your bubble even during a recording. Finally, if you're choosing screen plus camera or even screen only, you're going to have these two options right underneath that say full desktop or current tab. Current tab is great if you're just doing this one tab and you don't need to navigate, say, to the desktop or to any other tabs within your browser window or to any other application windows. So current tab is great just for this, for example, display of our day. If I do want to go different places or even click links to go to other websites while recording a video for students and I want them to see that, I'm going to choose full desktop. So for our purposes, I'm going to choose full desktop, and I'll show you a couple other prompts that it has when we click start recording. Just before I do that, note that you can choose your camera source if you have more than one camera. You can flip the camera if you don't want it to mirror or do want it to mirror. And you can choose your microphone source as well. The other toggles at the bottom here, control menu turns on and off this control menu that we hit earlier. So that cancel, pause, and start recording, that can be toggled on or off. You just have to remember the shortcut keys for pausing or finishing your video if you toggle those off. And you can toggle on or off a recording countdown. So it'll give you a 3-second countdown to get started. So here we go. I'm going to start my recording here and show you what that looks like and what happens after I finish. So I'm going to click start recording. Because I've indicated full screen, I'm going to choose the screen I want. Now I have two because I have my 2 monitors set up for my Hangout here. Most of us will just have the one screen, but it is a little deceiving because this share button stays grayed out unless you actually click the picture for your entire screen. So you can click that picture and then click share. It's going to count me in. Hey everyone, here's a display of our day. It's Monday. So starting off with English language arts, remember we have that Flipgrid reading response. We have that writing journal assignment that you'll need to work on throughout the week. And when it comes to math, I've added a collaborative Jamboard lesson into Google Classroom. So have a look at that and be sure to let me know if you have any questions. Now, one more thing, just on the notes at the bottom here. My question for you is, wait for it to disappear. There we go. My question for you is, what's working well? What's been challenging? So please let me know by sending me a message through Classroom or even just to my email address. Have a wonderful day. Now I'm done recording, so I can pause if I wanted to go to something else. So I can pause it and then go on to another document, for example, like this one here. And I can talk about how this document here is useful for their, say, writing assignment. Don't forget this document here can be helpful for your writing journal prompts. And then I can pause it again. And if I'm finished recording, then I can just press the green check mark. Now, when I do that, Loom is going to open up into a new tab that takes me to a few last edit capabilities and sharing capabilities. The first thing that I'll want to do is rename the video. It's coming up with just my, my tab heading where I started my Loom video. So I'm going to rename this as Morning Meeting, April 6th. And then I have a few more edit features right here. Now, I do want to talk about these edit features and then the sharing feature, different ways that you can share. But before I do you have any questions about signing up for Loom, installing the Loom for Chrome extension, or recording a Loom video? Good, everyone's okay. I'm just going to quickly check the chat and see if I missed anything. Oh, free for teachers forever, Clayton? That's incredible. I really hope that that's the case. That's awesome. All right, let's talk about some edit features. It's not a full suite of edit features, but it is just enough. And it's actually great for what I want to do in terms of quickly making and sharing a video with my students. So here they are in this corner of the screen called Edit Your Video. The first thing is the settings cog. I'm going to click that and we'll see some options. These edit options actually allow me to figure out how exactly I want to share my video with students. First of all, like a YouTube video, you can have a comment section under the video. It's up to you if you want to have that on or off. just by toggling it. And it's up to you if you want to get an email notification whenever a comment is posted. Again, just by toggling it. Emoji reactions are like a Facebook live stream. You can have a list of emoji at the bottom here, except all these emoji are happy, except for one. One is a thumbs down, but you can use thumbs up and thumbs down for what do you understand about this lesson that I've shared with you? What parts are you understanding? What parts are you not understanding? So there are some ways that you can use those emojis to have students react as they're watching the video with you at their own time and place. I'm going to turn that on so you can see what it looks like. You can decide if you want to toggle that on or off, and then also click use as default if you want that to generally be the case for all your videos. The animated thumbnail GIF is what you see right here. As you can see, there's a few little pictures that it's cycling through at the beginning of my video, not my whole video. And that animated GIF can be useful if you're planning to embed your video into a Google site or even onto a Google Doc. The Loom branded player, you know what, to be honest, I'm not too familiar with this other than you need Loom Pro in order to toggle it off. So I just leave it toggled off. It probably has some branding around the side of it, like join Loom. Viewer can download is a setting that you can turn on or off if you want students to be able to download your videos or not download your videos. And then finally, show analytics to viewer would show all the students how many total or unique views that there are there. One other point about downloading videos, even if you toggle this off, remember that anything that we post out on the wild internet can be captured, right? So there are other apps that people can use to capture whatever's happening on screen, even if we didn't want them to. So just be aware that as much as we're trying to control some things are going to be out of our control. And that leads us to having those important discussions with our students about digital footprint, digital citizenship, and the like. I'm going to save my settings here by clicking the blue Save button. And then the other feature that I really like is trimming. So as you can see in my video, there were a couple of hiccups where I was waiting for some part of the screen to fade away so that they could see the text. I don't need to re-record my entire video. I can just trim out part of that video and then keep the parts that I like. And so in the trim menu that opens up when I click trim, I can rewatch my video and I can press this button called Start Trimming whenever I want to start trimming. I think that part where I was waiting for things to kind of disappear was probably around here, partway through the video. So let's have a look. I'm just going to click play. My poor computer is probably trying madly to catch up while I'm running a couple of video applications and everything else. So let's try pausing and playing again. All right, so I'm going to return to video and try this one more time. So let's click return to video. There we go. I'm going to click trim again. Let's give this a second try.
Hey everyone, here's a display of our day. It's Monday. So starting off with English language arts, remember we have that Flipgrid reading response. We have that writing journal assignment that you'll need to work on through.
Skipping ahead. Oh, I thought I'd try it. I should have just let it play. Let's go back. All right, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim out the part I didn't want to trim out just so we can have a look at it. When I get to the place in my video that I want to trim, I'll click Start Trimming. It's going to come up with this red bracket that will cut out anything that is within that, that time frame. Notice that I can grab the handles at either side and shrink them or grow them to the right time. I can also keep playing my video just by clicking and pressing play.
So have a look at that and be sure to let me know if you
and I can, at the bottom of the screen, take a look at where my video is and where I want to stop that trim. I can even fine tune my trim to tenths of a second just by going down into this bottom part of the screen, and I can use the up and down arrows to fine tune where that trim happens. When I'm happy with where the trim is, I'm going to click remove. And then I can keep trimming other parts of my video. I can keep watching it.
Just in the notes at the bottom.
And trimming it and so forth. When I'm happy with how it's been trimmed, I can click publish changes. Now Loom is going to take a little bit of time to publish those changes. And really, publish is a misnomer. It's just publishing it for me. I haven't published it anywhere to the web, to any students yet. And so it's in my dashboard still. Depending on the size of your video, how long it is in total, and how much you're trimming, this can take anywhere from a few seconds to a couple of minutes. So, so my video has been trimmed now. Marcia, did you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I decide 1 minute that, yeah, I really wanted that trimmed, and then I watch it and, oh my God, I actually didn't want that trimmed. Can I undo everything I've done?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I go back into the trim menu, or the trim window, just by clicking trim again, I'll see that my trimmed part is right here, and I can edit that trim. So just by clicking that red part, I can click edit trim, and I can cancel the trim. Oh, can I? Let's see here. Edit trim, and I can decrease that, or revert to original right at the bottom here. I can take that out and start my trims again. So I'm just going to click return to video here. Two more things that you might want to consider. One is a call to action. A call to action is a button that will float in your video player. It will disappear when the viewer is watching it, but then when they mouse over the video, the button will appear. And a call to action can be a link that you want your students to go to after they have watched the video, or even in the middle of the video. So for example, if I wanted to redirect them back to Classroom or to a specific website, I could just type that button text here, go to Classroom, and then I could type in the link for Classroom. And then I can change the colors of the button and the text and how the corners look, and press save. Now, when I'm editing that button, it looks like it's in the middle of the screen, but you'll be able to see when I show you the student's view of it, that the button will appear in the top corner out of the way unless I mouse over it. The final option is to create a custom thumbnail. Again, if you're going to embed this video somewhere like a Google Doc or a Google site, and you don't want to use the animated GIF that you see here, you can upload a particular picture to use as a custom thumbnail. A few last edits are right here at the bottom of the screen. You can download your own video and share it through Google Drive, for example, if you want to embed it into a slideshow or something like that. You can duplicate this video and make further edits to it, knowing that the original is left untouched. If you really don't like this video, you just want to trash it, click delete video. And then finally, some share options here, as well as up in the corner here. So any questions about editing video before we talk about sharing it? All right, the easiest way, and one of the best things I like about Loom, is I can share it just with a link here. So I can click copy link, and then I can go to Google Classroom or email or my Remind app or a text message, and I can paste this link, and then immediately people have that ability to watch my video. If I'm particularly worried about people accessing the video that I don't want to, I do have a few more ways to protect my video down at the bottom here. I can invite people And then specific people with a specific email address will be sent an invitation and they can access the video. I can also add a password to my video and then share that password with the people I want to access the video. But I think the best thing, as I said, is copying the link and then going into Classroom and pasting this link. If I have a number of morning meeting videos that I do throughout the week, I might just add a topic in Classroom for all my morning meeting videos. And then if this was a subject specific lesson, I could post that right into the topics for those lessons. If you do want to make your video more widely accessible, you can click the link sharing button right here. By default, it's set to link sharing, which means that only people with the link can access the video. But if you want it to be public and available in Google searches, you have that option right here. All right, so that's a little bit about editing and sharing your video. I'm going to talk about other configurations and then even giving student feedback. One configuration for using Loom is to use Loom to capture your whole, just use it as a regular kind of video recording device. And for that, as I said, you can go and use the Loom for Chrome extension up at the top and click camera only. Now we've already talked about how it's deceptively looking like it's the screen and camera. But if you really want to have the full view of what's being captured by the camera, you can use the desktop application for Loom. And so by that, I mean on loom.com, if you download the desktop application for your Mac or your PC, you can click Loom from your computer, and you have those very similar options here, except that when you choose camera only, one of the other features you have is that when the bubble pops up here, and I'm sure it will right away, there it goes. When the bubble pops up here, there's one more option at the bottom of the bubble here, and that's this full screen option. So I can toggle this into full screen, and now I see everything that's going to be captured within the camera. This is available on the desktop application, but not on the Loom for Chrome extension. If I'm doing some recordings of Loom and how to use Loom, I'll use Loom on my desktop and then show them how to use Loom within the tabs and things like that. I'm just going to toggle this off here. There we go. Another way to use Loom is with the iOS app, because Loom does have a free app for iPads and for iPhones. So if I want to do something on my iPad, say with my stylus or Apple Pencil, I would use my iOS app for that. So I'm going to stop sharing my desktop, and I'm going to join this meet on my device and show you what that would look like. There we go. So now I'm on my iPad as well as on my desktop. So hello from both. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen on my iPad by clicking Present Screen. This is also how I would do a little bit of whiteboarding on a Hangouts Meet lesson as well. So with an iPad, you could use your Notes app, for example, to do some work with a stylus or an Apple Pencil. And whatever you're drawing or doing with the pencil itself, students will be able to see. Now, is that coming up here? Can you see my iPad screen? No, okay, something went wrong. Let me do that again. There we go. All right, so as I was saying, when I'm sharing my screen on my iPad, I can go to my Notes app and do some whiteboarding style work just by pulling up my, my markup tools and using my pencil or my stylus. So this would be one way where I could talk to students and interact with them, as well as doing some lessons. So whether that be printing, if I'm in a primary class, or if I'm doing some sort of guided drawing activity, or if I'm doing complex math equations, or if I'm doing complex scientific diagrams, I can use that with my iPad through Google Meet. We kind of got off topic there because with Loom, you can use Loom to record as well. So I'm going to go out and go into my Loom app. Loom is free for iOS. And when I tap Loom, I'll see that I have a few options here. All my videos show up because I'm logged in with my same account. And there's a red button right at the top. That's the record button. When I tap record on the iPad, I only have two options available. I can either record the camera, so you can see me right here through the iPad camera, or I can record screen. Unfortunately, I can't do both on the iPad like I do on the desktop. But with the iPad, if I'm able to perch the iPad atop some textbooks or soup cans, or maybe I even have an iPad holder or something like that, then I can use the camera on my iPad to record whatever I'm doing on my desktop. So I'm going to tap record screen here. I'm wondering if it'll work because I'm doing it in a Hangout Meet. Oh, it didn't. It stopped my Hangout Meet here. So I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to see if I can mirror my iPad to my screen and see if this will work this way. All right, let's take a look here. All right, so we'll try this one more time, mirroring to my screen. Kind of feels like Inception. I'm taking video of video of video, right? All right, so now you can see my iPad screen on your screen now, I think. Is that right? Can everyone see my iPad desktop? Yeah, I'm seeing some head nodding. So let's try this again. Let's see if I can record a video using Loom while I'm mirroring my screen. So I'm going to go into Loom again. There we go. I've tapped the red button. I'm just going to go out of here and see if I can do that one more time. There we go. I'm going to tap record screen. And now I'm going to make sure my microphone is on normally, but right now I'm going to keep my microphone off so I don't get feedback with the Hangouts Meet that I'm doing here. I'm not sure that I would actually, so I'll turn that on and then press Start Broadcast. It's going to give me a 3-second count in for starting it. And you know what? I think that this inception of video on video on video is just interfering with it. But when I record start recording, in the top corner of my screen, there's going to be a little red record icon, and whatever I do on my screen will show up on my Loom video. Because I've turned my microphone on, it will also record my voice. So if I go into my camera app and have that perched above my desktop, then whatever I'm seeing on my desktop through my camera app will be recorded in the Loom video. Okay. All right. So those are a couple of ways to use the other tools that Loom has, including the iOS app and the desktop app. One final thing I want to show you just before I open it up to any other questions is Loom is a fantastic way to give quick and effective student feedback. So let's imagine here that a student has handed in a biology essay, and I wanted to give some feedback here on this essay, instead of adding a comment that just has text in it, what I can do is record a quick Loom video. So to do so, I'm going to click the Loom for Chrome extension while the student's work is up on screen. I'm going to position my bubble over here on the side so it's out of the way, and click Screen and Cam. I can just click Current Tab because we're going to stay in this tab here. When I click Start Recording, it's going to count me in. So from this point on, anything I say, the student will hear. So I can talk about how in this part of their essay here, there's some very specific information. And in this part of the essay over here, or let's go down here, in this part of the essay down here, there needs to be some more specific details so that the reader truly understands the concept that the student is trying to convey. When I'm done recording this, short 20 or 30-second video, I'll just click Finish Recording. It opens up again into that new tab. And all I'm going to do is copy this link from this very quick and short video that I don't even need to edit because it was so short and I got my point across in just the right way, visually and orally as well. I'll copy that link, go back to the student work, and in a comment beside, I can just paste in that link. Or I can paste it in through Google Classroom as a private comment on their work, or email it to the student. But how effective is that? Rather than just a text comment that might be easy to misinterpret or misunderstand, students can see you and see their work at the same time and hear the feedback. So that's a quick and easy way to do feedback through Loom. At this point here, what questions do you have? Or in what ways have you used Loom that I haven't talked about that other people would appreciate hearing? Yeah, Michael.
I've used it with a document camera.
Yeah, and so with the document camera, it was very similar to the iPad, where you would just be displaying what's on your desktop and you could manipulate the paper or materials or what have you.
Yeah, well, at our school, we just like to use paper a lot rather than, well, maybe some schools don't, but we don't really use Google Drives or Google programs, but it's mostly, we just love using paper. And so I think we're all great teachers. Most of us are just teaching on document cameras.
Yeah.
So what I've done is, because everything is on your monitor screen anyways, why not record it like you're actually teaching in class and just pretend that there's just no one in your class to be watching you while you're teaching. So I've been able to do what I've always been doing, is to teach on a document camera. I record it with Loom and it's basically done. And then I just paste it and there it is. So it's actually the same thing that what the students are getting when they're watching it on the the data projector on your whiteboard.
Absolutely. What a great way to have continuity between pre-COVID-19 and now, right? So that's great. But much like I do my photo booth right here, you can imagine your window with your document camera right on screen. So as Michael said, you're just recording your screen and whatever's there, students are seeing. And that's a great way to have that continuity and clarity as well with your lesson.
And the other thing too is like a lot of us at our school right now, like we don't have like webcams. And I don't have a webcam. I don't have an iPad. And how I started just to start doing Loom is because I was recording things on my phone and stuff like that, uploading that to YouTube. If you don't have an iPad or Apple products, it took a long time to upload. So Loom was just awesome. And the great thing about using that document camera as well is, I don't know if many of you know, with your document camera, you can move it around. You can swivel that camera. So I can just turn it the other side where I'm pointing it like to the children in the class, and you can turn that into a webcam basically, right? Why does it have to go downwards? And it's just looking at whatever you're writing on a piece of paper. So that's how I started my videos, is I introduce myself by just swiveling that document camera towards my face, just say, hey guys, this is what this is all about. And then I just paused it on the Loom, swiveled it back, and then I just go back to my general teaching.
That's perfect. And so that kind of solves the problem of not having a webcam on your computer. Nice. Someone mentioned, just in the text box here, oh, Andrew, the shared folder. So if you return to your loom.com dashboard, I'll just bring it up here. Here we go. If you return to your loom.com dashboard and go to My Videos, you'll see that one of the options is to create a new public folder. This public folder, I'm pretty sure you could just share the link to this folder and have students access a folder that has all of your class videos if that's the way you wanted to share it. So I'm going to click New Public Folder here. I haven't actually tried this out, so let's do it on kind of on the video here. So my new public folder is right here. I'm going to call it Test Folder for Lessons. There we go. And when I hover over my public folder, Test Folder for Lessons, I see that it has a Share Folder icon. So clicking that, I can just copy this link, and that way students can have access to all my videos that I put into that shared folder. So that might be a great way to, as you record, put it in there and then share this link on Classroom. So if they're wondering, where was that one video again? I can't remember. They can go into the link for the shared folder and navigate to find the video they're looking for. What other questions do you have before we finish up for the day here? Or comments or shares? All right, well, I'll just leave you then with the last couple of ideas. One is not about Loom, but just about other supports that we're trying to offer. There are more help desk meetings scheduled throughout the week. Jamboard is tomorrow. That'll be the first EdTech help desk that we're doing about Jamboard, but I know I've presented to some staffs already. And Jamboard is a Google app that allows you to have kind of virtual and interactive whiteboard space. So I'll talk more about that tomorrow at noon. And then Wednesday and Thursday, bright and early at 8:30. Wednesday, we have Flipgrid. And Thursday is choose your own topic. Whatever questions you have about anything EdTech related, feel free to join us. If you know a question ahead of time, click Submit a Question, and it'll take you to a Google form. But if you don't submit one ahead of time, join us anyway and ask your question on the spot there. Finally, or not finally, but one more is if you want to take a look at any of our previous recordings, including this one, they'll be posted just at the bottom of this shared Google Doc. I'm going to post the other one, this one for Loom, later on this afternoon, so that'll be here as well. Eventually, these will be on our intranet for the district. And if you haven't been there yet, you're going to go to www.spschools.org. and look for the link at the top of the screen that says Staff Login. This will allow you to get the EdTech resources that we've set up, as well as some curricular resources. Now, if you don't see this light blue bar at the top of your screen, because some schools aren't or some people aren't, depending on what they're using, two things to try. One is make your browser full screen by clicking the green button and making it full screen. The other thing to try is pressing F11. I just talked to Paula today, who's responsible for our website, and she said pressing F11 toggles on and off the view settings, I guess, so you can do that. Click Staff Login, and you'll be taken to sign-in portal. I would just click Google to sign in with your Google credentials. And it's just taking a moment here. When you're signed in, look on the left-hand side of this web page for curricular services. This gives you 4 options. One of them is educational technology, and that's where you'll find all of these resources that we've been talking about in the help desks. But the rest of the team, Catherine, Christy, and Karen, have been putting together lessons and resources for K-12, as well as templates and samples for all of our online learning that we're engaging in. So check those links out for more information. Within the educational technology section, you can click on, basically, I've set it up in terms of how you're using it, the technology. So if you're wanting to do one-to-many broadcasts like Loom, that would be in Tools for One-to-Many. And so you see Loom here, as well as a couple of how-to videos. Hangouts Meet is another way to do one-to-many. And so there's a variety of how-to videos there, as well as in all the other sections. One last thing, if I can have one more moment of your time, it's just to encourage you to proceed with curiosity and a sense of experimenting as we continue in week 2 of our online learning. There's no instruction manual that's been created for our district or many others in terms of how to do this online learning or how to do it in an emergency situation like we are in now. And so we will make mistakes, and that's okay. Please model that growth mindset that we want our students to have. And this is a great opportunity to share with students about how we're learning and how we're thinking about what's best for them in terms of their learning. And in addition to that, having those digital citizenship conversations so that they can be supported not only in their online schooling, but also in their online socializing. That's all for me. Have a great afternoon. If you do have any more questions, feel free to stay on. I'll stay connected here until 1 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks, Cam. Really appreciate your advice.
My pleasure. Thanks for joining us, Scott.